Change your thinking, change your destiny. Many people are unaware that Tây Du Ký was the first book banned during the Ming Dynasty. What exactly caused this book to disappear for over a century? What secrets did it hide? The opening of Tây Du Ký states, to understand creation, to achieve greatness, read Tây Du Ký to comprehend the spread of evil. This means that if you want to understand the truth of life, you must read Tây Du Ký. Unfortunately, over the centuries, very few have truly understood Tây Du Ký. Once you grasp this book, you will understand the meaning of life. In Tây Du Ký, the 5 characters, Sun Wukong, Tang Sanzang, Jubaji, Sha Wujing, and the white dragon horse, are symbols representing a single person. Sun Wukong symbolizes the human mind. Tang Sanzang represents Buddha nature. Jubaji embodies desire. Sha Wujing stands for the hands, and the white dragon horse signifies human willpower. First, let's talk about the mind. The mind has 72 transformations, which is why Sun Wukong has 72 magical abilities. The human mind changes rapidly and unpredictably, much like Sun Wukong's transformations. The Diamond Sutra discusses how to tame the mind. The journey of the 5 disciples to eliminate demons on their way to the West symbolizes the process of a person overcoming inner demons. No matter how skilled Sun Wukong is, he cannot escape the suppression of the 5 elements mountain by the Tathagata Buddha. The 5 elements mountain represents the 5 poisons: greed, anger, ignorance, arrogance, and doubt. Just as Sun Wukong cannot escape these poisons, neither can the human mind. Training the mind brings clarity, which is why the 8 trigrams furnace gave Sun Wukong his fiery golden eyes. When his eyes brighten, it symbolizes the awakening of the mind. This is the clarity of awareness in Buddhism, the ultimate goal of Confucianism, and the enlightenment in Zen. The ancients greet you with wisdom. The Tao Te Ching says, the 5 colors blind the eyes, the 5 tones deafen the ears, the 5 flavors numb the tongue, and racing and hunting madden the mind. Our 6 senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, constantly deceive our brain. Later, Sun Wukong kills 6 bandits, each representing one of the 6 senses. The eyes see pleasure, the ears hear anger, the nose smells sorrow, the tongue tastes bitterness, the body feels joy, and the mind thinks restlessly. Sun Wukong killing the 6 bandits is a metaphor for freeing oneself from the bondage of the 6 senses, achieving purity. Sun Wukong can leap 108,000 miles in one bound, the distance from the Tang dynasty to the Western Heaven. This means that no matter how far the Western Heaven is, it can be reached in a single thought. If you can change one thought, you won't need to endure 81 tribulations or travel 108,000 miles. The Bodhisattva once incarnated as the Zen master Wuxing and taught Tang Sanzang a sutra, which states, form is emptiness, emptiness is form, and that the Buddha is not far away, the Western Heaven is within your heart. Unfortunately, Tang Sanzang only understood this when he reached the Western Heaven. Jubaji represents our desires, greed, lust, and laziness. When faced with danger, he always wants to return to Gao village. This symbolizes the human instinct to retreat in fear. Psychology calls this the id, which controls our emotions and desires. Sha Wujing represents our hands, hardworking and diligent. Human hands are contradictory, sometimes they follow the body, sometimes the mind, and sometimes the brain. Many work hard with their hands but are lazy in mind and brain. They often use the diligence of their hands to cover the laziness of their brain or the flexibility of their brain to mask the dullness of their soul. Tang Sanzang represents the Buddha mind. Everyone has a Buddha mind, the true self, distinct from the deluded mind of Sun Wukong. The Buddha mind is innate, maintaining compassion and goodness regardless of circumstances. Thus, Tang Sanzang always sees beauty and believes in the inherent goodness of others. The unwavering belief in goodness and never giving up is the brightest aspect of Buddha nature. Why did Tang Sanzang almost stay in the women's kingdom? Because emotions are the hardest challenge in life, harder than defeating demons. Humans are born from desire. Without desire, we wouldn't exist. The 7 spider demons symbolize the 7 emotions and 6 desires of humans, like a web binding people. The 3 forms of the white-boned spirit represent the 3 aspects of human love and desire. Sun Wukong destroys them, meaning only the mind can control desire. Each person's life is like a journey to the West, a process of overcoming countless difficulties to achieve enlightenment. When they reach the Western heaven, the Buddha gives Tang Sanzang the Sutra of No Words and the Sutra of Emptiness, because the Sutra of No Words is the true treasure. The experiences on the journey far surpass the value of the scriptures. The process of seeking the scriptures is more important than the result. These experiences help humans ascend. This is the true meaning of seeking the scriptures. The scriptures are just a form. If you reach the Western heaven and still cling to the scriptures, you haven't achieved enlightenment. If someone overcomes countless hardships while maintaining a passionate soul, they have already become a Buddha, even without reaching the Western heaven. Finally, why was Sun Wukong chosen to retrieve the scriptures from the Western heaven? What is his background? He is the disciple of Patriarch Bodhi. Who is Patriarch Bodhi? He is one of the great deities closely related to the Tathagata Buddha, as seen in their dialogue in the Diamond Sutra. Even the Tathagata Buddha respects Patriarch Bodhi, showing his high status and cultivation. Patriarch Bodhi is a legendary figure, unseen but always talked about. The Tathagata Buddha knew that such an important task had to be entrusted to someone close, hence Sun Wukong was chosen. To avoid risks, Patriarch Bodhi instructed Sun Wukong to claim he was born from a stone and never to publicly acknowledge their master-disciple relationship. Thus, Sun Wukong appears as if he fell from the sky, fearless and even causing chaos in heaven. Looking back, most extraordinary achievers in the world are celestial beings sent down to complete their missions and then return. Classic works like Dream of the Red Chamber, The Plum in the Golden Vase, Journey to the East, and Investiture of the Gods all tell stories of such people. For example, Journey to the East initially describes Lu Dongbin's cultivation to immortality. Lu Dongbin became immortal because he overcame desire and fame, living a carefree life. Ordinary people cannot become immortals because their desires are too heavy, their karma too deep, and they lack virtue. Thus, they remain trapped in the cycle of reincarnation. Even with fame and fortune, they cannot escape suffering. The most typical example is Shi Munxing in The Plum in the Golden Vase. Despite possessing vast wealth, fame, and a luxurious life, he dies miserably, lying on a bed like an animal for 3 days before his death. In reality, most of a person's life is spent proving their existence to the world. Most people prove their existence in 2 ways. First, by how many luxurious things they own. In this realm, material possessions are the core measure. Wealth is the simplest and most effective way to seek a sense of existence. Money is the clearest measure of value in the world. Having money makes people respect you and makes reality more comfortable. Second, by how many people you have loved and been loved by. In this realm, people replace material possessions as the center. Loving many people shows how much love you have in your heart, and being loved by many shows how lovable you are. This love is grand, not narrow. Grand love is loving one person in the whole world, while narrow love is loving one person and living in a world of 2. A sign of maturity is understanding one truth: save yourself, don't rely on others. We shouldn't expect to meet a good person or a good job to bring us happiness. Instead, we must become someone capable of creating happiness. Happiness doesn't depend on fate, it's a skill, a habit, and a state. People with a happy inner world will be happy anywhere, with anyone. Conversely, those with an unhappy inner world will be unhappy anywhere, with anyone. Happiness is only related to oneself, not the external world or others. Remember, the most important ability in the world is the ability to be happy. In this world, 90% of adults are essentially children in grown-up bodies. Their hearts are still immature, standing at the peak of ignorance. One day, they will face harsh reality and fall into the abyss of despair. Only a few can learn from their pain and move forward. When they fall into the abyss, they gradually rise and counterattack, starting to walk more steadily. Through daily hard work and accumulation, they eventually achieve enlightenment, becoming truly mature adults. At this point, they can look down at all beings calmly and serenely, finally seeing the truth of the world and life. The principle is simple: take what others don't want, give what others desire. What sentient beings seek is what you are willing to give up. This seems like charity, compassion, and selflessness, but it's also the highest form of investment, the great self. If a person meets the following 15 conditions, their life will be enlightened. 1. Endure loneliness. 2. Have clear goals and walk steadily. 3. Know how to cooperate and win with others. 4. Live humbly, work powerfully. 5. Know how to leverage your strengths. 6. Think independently, refuse to blindly follow the crowd. 7. Don't waste energy, don't complain, don't be stubborn. 8. Handle emotions first, solve problems later. 9. Have strong execution, finish before perfecting. 10. Don't compare with others, focus on self-improvement. 11. Always improve yourself, train your body, and read books. 12. Don't care about others' opinions, maintain inner stability. 13. Maintain healthy eating habits, sleep early, rise early. 14. Reject indulgence, be humble, and persist in long-termism. 15. Be humble in learning, don't hesitate before the skilled. Many think that practitioners like monks cannot experience worldly pleasures. This is completely wrong. They can free their minds and experience wonderful sensations at any time, and this can last very long. Unfortunately, most of us mortals can only achieve brief mental liberation and joy through gambling, drugs, and sex, all of which are legal. People are willing to risk prison for momentary pleasure. In today's era, as material wealth grows, human souls become emptier. If people don't learn to cultivate their minds in the future, they will surely become more lost and suffer more spiritual pain. Why do girls with high spiritual awareness find it hard to find true love? Because they are sent by heaven to experience human life. They can only meet and love those also sent by heaven. These people possess superior wisdom and deep compassion, unbound by worldly rules. They don't seek love in the ordinary sense but a higher spiritual experience, freedom, transcendence, and boundless love. Compared to mental excitement or emotion, they crave deep inner peace and self-transcendence. Though they have special charm and aura, their charm brings others a sense of tranquility, like standing before a bodhisattva statue, making people respect and keep a certain distance. Why do some people, who clearly do no wrong, have turbulent fates? It's because they've accumulated too much negative karma from past lives, or their ancestors did little good, even harming their blessings. Thus, their fate in this life is always painful. However, if they continuously accumulate virtue and create blessings, when their blessings are enough to offset past negative karma, they will start to enjoy good fortune. In short, we must cherish our blessings and accumulate merit. For criminals, if there is no external force to push them, they will forever live in their inherent way of thinking or their own prejudices. The book says, the biggest prison in the world is human thinking. If we look carefully, we can recognize the mistakes we have made. We will realize that most of our mistakes come from the limitations of our own thinking. Therefore, human thinking and perception must always be open, ready to receive new information. This is the compatibility of thinking. The sign of maturity of a criminal is when they realize that there are two types of order in the world. The manifest order is the superficial order, revolving around morality, everyone knows, but it is only a slogan, a word. The hidden order is the hidden order, revolving around interests, no one speaks of it, but it is applied in real actions. The saying, looking through the surface to see the essence, means that as long as you can surpass the manifest order, you will see the hidden order. The saying seeing through but not saying it implies that the hidden order should only be used secretly, not said. The manifest order is just a cover, a slogan for people to honor each other. If you completely follow this order, you will not be able to do anything and will be laughed at. The hidden order is the essence. You only need to apply it, but if you say it, you will break the complementary structure between the two orders and will definitely be punished. Therefore, there are many truths in the world that cannot be said. As long as you say it, disaster will immediately come. Buddha taught that you should not say it. People with high levels are often sent down by heaven. They always make others feel comfortable. People at high levels are never self-important, nor do they boast about wealth. They are invisible people, compatible with all levels and easy to get along with. Vertical compatibility means that they can adjust their level to the same level as the interlocutor, then start communicating, and can always get along with people at different levels. Horizontal compatibility means that they quickly find the other person's perspective without prejudice, and can even easily switch between right and wrong in the mundane world. They do not distinguish between high and low, right and wrong, and can go up or down, left or right without being stubborn. This is the state of the invisible elephant, the big elephant without a fixed shape. Therefore, the higher the level of people, the more comfortable they make others feel. They are like spring rain, gently permeating everything without making a sound. When around them, people feel comfortable as if they are immersed in the spring breeze. Making others feel comfortable is the highest personal charm and also the highest life wisdom. For offenders, whether they meet people at high levels or successful people, what they receive the most is enlightenment. What they learn directly is only skills, but they cannot learn wisdom directly but must realize it themselves. Skills can be taught, but wisdom must be understood by themselves. No one can directly give them a method, but the real method must be realized by themselves. Each person has different resources, conditions and personalities, so each person needs to find the most suitable way of cooperation for their conditions, not copying the path to success of others. However, in today's society, most people are impatient. They do not want to think. They just want a clear answer, then follow it. They are lazy, do not want to think for themselves. Many people have taken advantage of this human weakness to sell ready-made answers. For example, short video gurus, training experts or practical books are all trying to sell us answers. Although many people have the ability to separate and simplify problems, they do not do so. Why? The reason is very sad. Because doing so does not make money. Because 99% of people are only willing to pay for extreme emotions and complicated tricks. If you simplify the problem, they will think you are not qualified. The more you attract them, the easier it is for them to pay. Therefore, creating anxiety and selling skills is always a sure way to make big money. Some people look down on common and trivial things. But behind those things are the needs of the majority, or in other words, the largest common denominator of things that meet the needs of the public. No matter how shallow it may seem, if it meets the popular needs of the public, it is still reasonable. This is determined by the level of awareness and mental state of the majority. The lower the content, the more marketable it is, because it suits the tastes of the majority. The lower the level of fraud, the more people believe it, because it suits the intelligence of the majority. Ordinary people forever pursue fame and fortune, thinking that the more money and the higher the status, the better, but they do not know that money and status are consuming their blessings. Why do many people who are both famous and successful pass away? Because their blessings have been consumed. When a person reaches the peak of fame, it means that their blessings have been fully realized. At the end of life, when reaching the highest peak, it is also the time when great joy and great sadness appear at the same time. Few people can see through this rule. The Chinese often talk about a word called accumulating blessings, which means cherishing new blessings. Do not consume them carelessly. If all of a person's blessings are turned into money, it is very scary, because just a small incident can knock that person down. As a human being, the most important thing is to accumulate merit and blessings. And to keep one thing in mind, never let fame and fortune exceed your blessings. Otherwise, your virtue is not enough to carry the load. There will definitely be disasters. The fact that you have not met someone you really like is the highest realm of human experience. There is a saying that wise people do not enter the river of tranquility. People who are truly mature and fulfilled will no longer lack in their hearts and often have no needs. They can be self-sufficient and find joy for themselves. There are people you like very much, often what you lack most in your heart. And when that aspect is filled, you will feel especially moved and want to possess. However, the more you pay attention to something, the easier it is to control you. Everyone likes things they can't reach. The person you like the most is often the person you have to tiptoe to reach. Even many people tiptoe and still can't reach. She is actually like you, also pursuing things she can't reach. Ordinary people don't want to see the truth, nor the truth, but the comfort of the soul. Just cook some soul chicken soup, slow inspirational words to soothe the broken souls, then they won't leave you. But if you analyze the reasons for their failure and try to wake them up, they will hate you to the bone because you broke their daydream. We just need to understand their narrow-mindedness, then create stories and illusions for them to indulge in, then we can achieve great success. Any truth that makes them feel uncomfortable, they will ignore. Any kind of chicken soup or trick that gives them a beautiful illusion will make them crazy. The biggest cognitive mistake of mortals, and the one we are most likely to make, is that we always consider the weak as good. This is a big bias. We can pity the weak, but we should not equate the weak with the good. The weak are the objective truth, and the good are the norm of behavior. These are two completely different things. In fact, many weak people are also evil people. But because they are weak, their evil is not destructive and has not yet been revealed. But once these people turn the tables, they will often do evil, even more brutally. This is the meaning of the saying the petty person gains wisdom, that is, the weak are always waiting for an opportunity to take revenge on society. When they have power in their hands, they will not hesitate to oppress and humiliate others, thoroughly demonstrating the cruelty of human nature. For example, many homeowners treat security guards badly, leaving them with no dignity. It seems that security guards are pitiful, but what we don't see is that they can turn around and say bad things to delivery people, or even intentionally make things difficult for them. In the world, never tell others about your heartache, because most people are just waiting to see your comedy. Suffering? Even if you are suffering, don't say it. No one cares about your pain. Some people even treat your pain as a topic for discussion. What's so scary about ghosts? Look into people's hearts. There are excellent actors around you. Everyone has a constantly changing face. Today you confide in others sincerely, but tomorrow you will definitely regret it to the point of heartbreak. In this life, what many people really need is not helpful advice, but well-intentioned consensus. Since ancient times, true love is hard to keep, only scheming can win people's hearts. Gradually, you will realize that a good heart is never as good as a clever mouth. 5 sayings left by wise people can completely change your life. First, although God and heaven are not guilty, when people encounter adversity or misfortune, they often blame God and heaven for being unfair, but forget their own stupidity and laziness. Second, the ability to love also has a limited use. If you wait for everything to be perfect before you start loving, it may be too late. Love always expires when you have prepared everything. Third, before shining brightly, we all have to accept the current hardship and loneliness. Third, accept the loneliness of a person and sometimes helplessness. Fourth, a reasonable person who does not cooperate once will be considered heartless, while a stubborn person who is just a little obedient will be praised endlessly. Fifth, when the effort you put in is not rewarded with money or material things, you will definitely receive corresponding spiritual joy. You do not worry that no one loves you, you only worry that no one loves you the way you want. In the end, you will realize that no one can love you the way you want, except yourself. Why do bad words often come true? Actually, words also have energy. Our language contains an invisible energy that can empower others or hurt them. More importantly, the energy from each word you speak will return to you, because it comes from you, and you are the center of that energy wave. A good word warms 3 winters, an evil word cools 6 summers. That's right, every word you speak should contain good intentions, and those good intentions will eventually bring you luck. Worried people often have one thing in common, which is not respecting the objective laws of the world. For example, not exercising regularly, but wanting to have a beautiful body. Not having rules in eating, but wanting good health. Not having long-term thinking, but wanting an easy life. Not practicing hard, but expecting achievements. Not reading and thinking, but